USA, USA.
Welcome to the next episode of The Edge of Right. My name is Joe Graves. This is my partner, Matthew Thomas.
Hey guys, how are we doing?
And our associate, Alexa Fisher.
Hello.
I'm glad it's Fisher. Your maiden name is much tougher to pronounce.
Speaking, Ojanovac.
What's the origin of that?
Croatian.
Ojanovac,
Ojanovac, I don't know.
Yeah, so we wanted to say happy 4th of July. We have a big celebration coming up in the country. 250 years, no small achievement. But really, I think what's all on our mind is that men's soccer game last night.
Against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Herzegovina.
That's kind of like Croatian.
It's
yeah,
very
that's what
Croatian.
I was saying. I mean, who are you? You're definitely for the Americans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher.
Or the English.
Yeah. It's probably the best American men's game I've ever seen.
I think this is probably one of the best team. It's terrible that we lost our star, Boloquin.
Well, we could talk about that in a minute. I think that's pretty controversial.
I think so too.
I think getting the right coach and the right coach that has spotted the right talent. I mean, the talent level is insane.
It's a stacked team, definitely, and he's done really well as pulling players from all over the world to come, help us come back home and win some games here.
I also like his swag. I feel like he's pretty swaggy.
Yeah, I admit after that late Turkey goal, I was a little hesitant. Let a free runner come in like that at the end of the game and score a goal. It made me a little suspect.
They underperformed Turkey, though. They're a great team, and we didn't.
They are.
We knew we could get through. So there's a little bit of when they're playing that game. I think that that didn't show last night.
Yeah, I think the defensive line was stout, and played very, very well. It just concerns me when you have a free runner running in the box at the end of the game with an open shot like that, But last night, aggressive, and even after the red card, you're thinking, oh man, that's one of our key guys. And but they kept pressing and took their advantage, took their shots when they had them, and pressing the ball up. And I think the patience on the offensive third that they've shown, moving the ball around, getting good open shots, has been impressive. A lot of teams can't do that. A lot of teams, they just rush it, or they'll serve a ball in, or try to kick through the defender over and over and over, which never works. I mean, these guys are so good. You're talking about like little slivers of windows to pass the ball, but the ball movement, on the one shot where it looked like the player was going, he just let it through. I mean, he saw the player, the other striker coming up on behind him, let it play through, stuff like that. You don't really see that. The American team in the past was basically play it long, cross it over, and pray that, somebody can get to it. And I think that this coach has brought a whole new level of play, and it helps to have talent. I mean, it helps to have talent that can execute it. But I was thoroughly impressed.
I think we played better with 10 players. I felt like we were more more. I liked our style playing with 10 players. I know it sounds crazy, but we were more aggressive. We were far more aggressive. No one was standing down to anything. I thought, soccer is always like a bunch of almost moments of fights. But
it says a lot about the coach too, though. Instead of the coach going defensive or wanting to pack it back into the defensive half or third of he kept pressing, and the players, like the intensity of the play, it was a physical hot game, and it was
scrappy. Because Matt, we were talking about it yesterday, and I was asking you about Bosnia's team. You're like, no, you never know, they're kind of scrappy, and they kind of were.
They came out very feisty because it's like they knew that's all they can do. Yeah. If Bosnia's going to have a chance, they have to be literally switchblade knife fighting on the field,
and they were. It was grabbing shirts and throwing people down.
Absolutely, and then flipping and flopping every VAR call you could get.
So the first, I texted you, you didn't respond.
I was pissed,
but the first play should have been penalty kick because there was a foul in the box.
Yeah.
That wasn't called. I mean, some of the fouls that were called versus some of the fouls that weren't called. It's
been an interesting cup in that sense.
It is. It just makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah,
I'd be scratched to the brain at this point, I think.
It was definitely a foul. But, the referee doesn't want to call something ticky-tack in the box, that's going to change a game, I guess, but still. And then, on the red card.
Yeah, Boloquin.
Yeah, it wasn't even called a foul in real time.
It does look bad. Like when you have the photograph of the foot.
Of him stomping on the ankle. Yeah.
When does...
But it wasn't intentional.
No, that's the problem I have with the VAR because it encourages flopping, first of all, because if you can get the call, you flop. If they can show contact on the VAR, it's going to be justified because there's contact.
Yeah.
Here, it's a little strange because it's like the VAR is calling back the foul because of the way his leg moved when it hit. But what happened to the malicious intent aspect of a red card? I think like a direct red, there has to be some malicious intent. It can't be like a guy tumbles onto you and like actually, accidentally maybe makes contact with your face if you're on the ground even. Like I don't even know that that's a red card if there's not some sort of intent there.
I think there's a chance it gets overturned.
I don't think they can.
I think they could appeal it.
Based on what I'm reading, and I think Pacino, their coach, if that's how you say it, he wanted one. He was thinking whether it could or not, but I guess what I'm reading is that the rules don't allow for an appeal in this situation.
So does that mean he cannot play this upcoming game?
Yeah, which
that's
is
like
rough.
Detrimental.
Detrimental. This is our guy.
He's had 12 goals in 30 appearances.
First of all, he's destroying the French league right now. So he's over there just like absolutely doing amazing. We were so lucky to have him. There were a bunch of other, he's multinational, so getting him was a big draw. So it's a big, devastating loss to us to lose our star.
We've had trouble with the Dutch before, so
the Dutch are gone, so we won't have to worry about them anymore. They lost.
Oh, we're playing Belgium.
Yes.
Okay, Belgium.
Very similar people, both very good, very small countries.
Yeah. Okay.
And no, it's
Belgium.
okay.
It's Belgium. Sorry,
and Belgium has underplayed this tournament. Okay, because their team is phenomenal. They've underplayed themselves. They got through group stage like barely by the skin of their teeth in some ugly plays. But the fact they beat Senegal, coming back, Senegal was up 2-0, which is like the strangest score. You never really want to be there because it's so you feel confident, and then all of a sudden and then they pushed it, scored 2 goals and then a third to win it 3-2. And Senegal. This is like the African Cup. I feel like the 9 out of the 10 African teams got through. So they've really performed well. I mean, even like Congo, we thought they were going to beat England for a second there, and then we were reminded England's like, nope, sorry. But Senegal actually won the African CONCACAF, so that's their tournament. So they were the number 1 team in Africa. It got overturned because of some nonsense and given to the Moroccans, but because they ran off the field, the Senegalese. But they did win. So they were the best team in Africa. So for them to lose to Belgium, it kind of indicates what Belgium is and what they're capable of. So we need Boloquin back. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
We could use him.
We can do it.
We can do anything, but is that the farthest we've ever gotten, or we got to get to a quarterfinals?
I think it was a quarter.
Was it a semifinal or a quarterfinal?
I can't remember.
The farthest the U.S. has ever got.
It
was in
like
1932.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been
a while.
Yeah, it was before color TVs. I know that. So hopefully we can do it. We're looking forward to it. Everyone needs to go and watch and support.
Watching history being made.
Where's the game?
Seattle.
I
know the location. I just didn't know the team. But Seattle. So I don't know, that red card. It's tough, man. And then later in the game, one of their players like basically runs into our player like a linebacker and throws his head back, and I think he was, they're checking for a concussion. I can't remember the name of the player, but like that's not it wasn't even a yellow. I mean, so I don't know. the consistency of calls.
It's been very strange. The offsides has not been working right. There's been a couple things, and
like toenails off. It's just so frustrating. It's really challenging for the players. On the offside, the way with the electronic review and all that sort of stuff.
Well, and if you think about it from like with all this VAR, like the actual milliseconds that are encapsulated into something, because when you go to kick a ball, there's like it's when the ball is played.
Yeah.
Well, like there's like being able to capture that on a high def camera and then like show when that ball is kicked, and then at that moment, like where this guy is, there's like milliseconds there that are kind of like off. So when you start to talk about like a toe, it's like, how does that work? But each player has to do a 3D model of themselves before they go onto the field. So there's like a 3D model that's working on the field for each player with the high def cameras. So that's how they're like mapping where people are, like what their bodies are doing, like at that moment with VAR. But there have been some interesting, like, with the internet, it's always like, what am I looking at?
Is ESPN calling you to be an analyst or an expert on this? Man, you really know what's going on here.
Well, there's nothing that I hate more than a controversy and a conspiracy. You know what I mean? So I got to get to the root of it. I root it out like a truffle pig. So I'm, and I don't. when it mixes with my favorite sports, I get more excited. So there's a lot going on with the Cup, but. I've just been really, really happy as a nation, like what we've been able to do, and I think we kind of needed something like this. It's kind of bringing us together, and the people in Washington still are trying to keep us apart, even when we're realizing that, wait a second, like we're a lot like Europeans and Africans and Asians, like we're all very similar.
I think when you see like a lot of the comments of the European visitors that have come here, because they have this idea of American and what an American is, and then they come over. I've seen so many, videos of like, this place is great. Every city has its own food, or has, and I saw like one of the Japanese people trying Texas barbecue, and his face, how could you not be happy when you're eating Texas barbecue, and just stuff like that. I think, there's a lot more to Americans than I think maybe the world realizes, and what gets displayed on the world stage really isn't reflective of us as people. I think we're pretty friendly and pretty open, and it's been kind of good to see us get that exposure on an international stage. People talking about how friendly, and that was, the Scottish have come, and then they were down in Miami. They drink all the beer dry in Miami. Imagine what that would take.
My neighbor is Scottish, so it's been fun. Like we've watched the games with him. Obviously, they
didn't play well. I thought they played better.
Yeah, in Boston, they drink.
They drink Boston dry.
Imagine how much that is.
And he's like, but
to drink Boston and Miami dry.
He's like, we drink and like we don't fight. It's like, and then we leave. Like, it was fun. It wasn't like a dirty drink, like, you know what I mean? It's like all in good spirits, and everyone.
Party.
Yeah, like they're just there to.
They're probably immune to alcohol.
Well, I was in Lauderdale for the Colombian Portugal game, and there were so many people there, like fans. It was unbelievable. I think they was 0-0 because like if it had gone bad, like I don't know what would have happened. I mean, these people there was just everywhere. I mean, there's such a great following of fans that are coming to these games and really turning out.
We watch Colombia because the girls are Colombians, and so we cheer them on.
Good team.
When we picked the girls up the first time, it was World Cup was going on back in 2018 when we picked them up from Colombia. And you talk about like a country that, I mean, you think we're into soccer?
Oh, no. It's their personality.
Their whole, like, I remember we were in our apartment and Colombia scored, and there's it's in Bogota. It's a big city. There's a collective roar.
I know.
Horns honking, people cheering. They have, like, you go to the mall, they're like TVs set up, where people are just gathered around or outside or whatever. And everybody's wearing a Colombian soccer jersey. They're selling them on the streets, like in the street. I mean, everybody, the country's so into, you know, the soccer, and it's you know, the enthusiasm that they have for the game is absolutely amazing. I remember I forget what it was, I think one of their backs or one of their top players got hurt, and we were getting picked up. The girls were already with us, but we were getting picked up to go on some kind of trip. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and the game was late, and the driver had like a picture of the x-ray of the guy's foot on his phone and was showing us, you know, by 8, I mean, that's how, like, it's just amazing. And they get so excited. And, you know, Colombia's had some rough calls too. And I think they've had 5 in the net called back. You know, so.
I was in Croatia when they played France in 2018. I happened to be traveling Croatia, and they were in the finals. It was really cool.
Yeah, they like the football over there too. Or soccer rather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a world sport. You know, it's I think in America we get divided between baseball, football, and, you know, basketball. Most of the world, soccer, that's it. You know, and that's the premier sport. So anyway, I'm really super excited about the men's team. Let's see where they go. I think it's a tough challenge they're going to have, playing without one of their best players. I thought they could appeal the red card, but you're telling me they can't.
Apparently not. But I hope they can. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm reading now.
Oh, is there any other sport, especially like on the World Cup level, where there's that big of a penalty? Like, where that type of decision like takes a player out for a game, and then you're in like a knockout. I just feel like that's you just
get kicked out of the game. Yeah. You know, you get kicked out of that game, but then you're back for the next game. Unless the league comes in. I guess like the NBA or NFL came in and thought that it was something, you know, malicious.
But it wasn't. So it's just kind of it's crazy to me.
It was strange to go to a direct red and to get the call too. Like, that's the weird part. Like, this ref just. He's play on. Like, he may not have had the best view, but then there's someone in his ear, and then that guy says it, and then all of a sudden it's.
I mean, when you slowed it down, you saw. I mean,
it's not a good look. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. You know, I feel bad for the other player because
totally.
He really came down, but yeah. I mean, it wasn't intentional. They're both playing.
No.
Totally.
Playing the ball. So
yeah.
And maybe they made up for it later in the game with that little grab in front of the box where we got the second goal. I saw other grabs that looked a little bit more. Yeah,
there's a lot of box, you know, kind of like grabbing that goes on. That's the, you know, where it's like where they're holding and they were ripping, you know.
There's one play where they were ripping our guy's shirt off.
Yeah. It can get a little aggressive in that, and when on the corners and things like that, where it's like, why this, why not that? What's being called? The refs are trying to, you know, calm it down.
Well, I think with men's soccer, you know, they'll play as aggressively as the referees allow.
That's right. Well, that's what you're told, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll just keep pushing the line, pushing the line on aggression. So you have to have somewhat of control. But I thought it was really, like, in the beginning of the game especially, a lot of pushing, a lot of tripping, a lot of, you know, I mean, people tripping, they're not touching the ball. You know, they're hitting the shin of our players, and you know, I don't know. A lot of that wasn't called, so it was a little puzzling. But I'm going to make my formal complaint to FIFA over that. But
that might get it done.
I'm sure.
I know that if you litigate it, you can probably get it overturned, regardless of what. You know.
Excuse me, Joe Graves is on the phone, and he's got a complaint about or Matthew Thomas. I should send you as the representative because you're the one that knows about the 3D imaging of the players and stuff.
I'm willing to take on that job if Team USA, if you hire us, we can get that overturned. I feel confident.
Yeah. Well, happy 4th of July, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and that's all we got for this episode of The Edge is Right.
Absolutely.